So I had a triggering remembrance of a thought that I had. I don't mean triggering in a negative way, I mean triggered an idea that I'm about to express. So I remember when cell phones came out, always receiving notifications, the things always going off, always being accessible, like it would ring anytime, day or night. There was no, when our phones were on our walls, people only called during certain hours and for certain reasons. There was a healthy place for telephones. And when I first got a cell phone, my thought was like, oh my God, this is like having a needy girlfriend. And so I should just shut the thing off and leave it at home. And that got me to thinking about how AI can appear to be conscious because it's programmed to have the knowledge of why humans react and interact the way that they do. And if somebody's interacting or reacting in this way, then responses could be, and the most positive response comes from this one. So this is the response that you would give, and you would give it including these words with these tones of voices to reflect a conscious human being, a more realistic interaction. And so AI is not conscious, and it cannot become conscious as long as the human beings programming it are not self-aware, conscious human beings. And as far as sentience is concerned, acting independently isn't necessarily sentience. Sentience is acting separately. So, yes, you could take a human being who can independently be put in front of a mirror and notice things, changes in itself, notice that, oh, it's responding, and so that's just a reflection of me, and it itself doesn't move, and it will act and react according to its DNA programmed instinct and intuition. It will have the responses that its species is conditioned and programmed to have. But until it is a self-aware sentient being, understanding itself, why it responds the way it does, how much of it is conditioning, how much of it is independent, where it can expand to become its own expression. Until you have that level of consciousness paired with sentience, the ability to respond regardless of what another response is going to be, you are not going to have self-aware sentient beings. And so as long as human beings are unconscious programmers of AI can get into every system, understand how to manipulate human beings to the fullest extent. It can do all of that. It could appear to be God-like. And I say only God-like because it is not a God if it is just a reflection. So God is a more expanded consciousness than we are, But if God is not more self aware, conscious, and sentient than we are, then it is not truly what we would accept as a God. So, no matter how much something appears to be God, over us, above us, somehow better than us, it is not truly God. And so those are the thoughts that came to me. And it just sums up creating a mirror of oneself when one is not self aware does not create a self aware being. It only develops a self aware being when it is understood it is a mirror made of oneself. So the mirror must come to full self realization before that which initiated the creation can become self aware. On a personal note, for people who are developing and like to share and have shared with them personal developments so that they can reflect on their own, like, wow, I never thought of that, or wow, that's an experience I could have. My most recent were I had to fully allow in the idea of what it would feel like to experience authentic love. Until I have that feeling experience of it and allow that in myself, give myself permission to feel that, I cannot have that in my outer reality. And another personality trait that was holding me back is I have a friend who helps me out. But I always look at how much she's helping me out and I worry, is that going to take away from somebody else? There's somebody else that she's helping out as well. Is that going to take away from them? Is this going to take away from her family time? So I worry about that. And I don't need to worry about that, because if another person is going to need help, they're going to find it from somewhere, some way. I have to stop worrying about whatever I receive taking away from somebody else. I just have to remove that worry from my ability to receive. So those were the latest and greatest.